I had so much plan in terms of my music and like releasing music, and I was really gassed for everything. And then lockdown happened.
My creativity was heavily damaged then. I just didn't create anything for a while.
On March 16th, in response to the coronavirus pandemic, Boris announced the national lockdown. Advised to stay home to save lives, the lockdown prohibited us from making non-essential outings. The bedroom was soon to become the home office, the studio, and the backdrop to many Zoom calls and TikToks. With a shift happening in our daily routine, the only thing we could be confident in is that we would face a great deal of change and uncertainty in the year ahead. To make matters worse in an already desperate situation, the onset of COVID caused an economic crisis in the UK, and as a result, the arts found themselves facing even further cuts and underfunding from the government. So how did creatives respond to this uncertainty within their field? We will speak to art students in their first year of university to see how the time in lockdown affected their creativity, and discuss how university is for them during a global pandemic. Did the shift in society and the influx of spare time fuel creative projects, or did the change from the studio to the bedroom and being confined to these walls limit their creative capacity?
Well done, you got a beat with a girl that you met in a Turkish Babylon. See me spleen up, they couldn't give a fuck. Invisible to them, all they see is white kids by the church. Bring up a couple friends with me. You go with the cherry B. I don't know your name, like why the fuck you texting me?
George, a 19-year-old student who goes by the name Tucker, recently moved from his hometown in Wiltshire to study music production in West London. The beginning of George's student experience has started in a time of huge uncertainty for the arts.
Picked apart like Berlin, rooted in the soil of the marsh I was birthed in. 3 pounds down, I'm a whiz like Merlin.
When everyone was going into the first lockdown, I was proper nervous, like, because like I had so much plan in terms of my music and like releasing music, and I was really gassed for everything at the beginning of the year. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna release this on whatever, I'm gonna make a tune with this person, I'm gonna make a tune with that person. So I was feeling really good, and then lockdown happened, and I got really nervous because like the whole music industry completely like kind of, it didn't like go to shit, but like lots of people in the music industry lost their jobs, and like I feel like lots of artists were kind of they were kind of holding back from releasing music because we're in lockdown, and they know they can't play shows if they release music. They know they can't tour with their albums. I just like didn't think I was gonna make much music in lockdown, and I didn't make much music in lockdown for like the first couple of weeks. Like a couple of weeks into lockdown, my mate Dougal FaceTimed me, and he was like, "Look, I'm creating like this collective, like this music collective, or like this SoundCloud account called Fish Tank Sounds." And he was like, it's just going to be loads of mixes, like loads of our mates like in our friendship groups, or like people in the local area in like Southwest who we know like doing DJ mixes, so like house mixes, drum and bass mixes, jungle mixes. So it was mainly meant for DJs, but he really wanted me to do a mix as well. When he asked me about that, I became really enthusiastic. I really liked the idea. I was really into it, but I didn't want to just do like a cypher or like freestyles, or just like, I don't know, I wanted to like use it as a creative opportunity to just go crazy.
I was sipping Henry Weston, you know I don't test them. We over like Harrison, or we in a Western.
So I decided that for this like 15-20 minute mix, I wanted to produce every song. 90% of the beats on it ended up being produced by me, but making it was like a super long process. Like there was literally 2 weeks where I'd wake up every day, work on music 8 to 10 hours a day, all day, producing beats, picking beats, trashing beats. There were whole songs that I made for the Fish Tank, for this mix that I was doing, that I just binned, like, because like I didn't rate them, or like my brother didn't rate them, because like he was just like picking and choosing stuff like throughout the process, saying, yeah, this isn't great. And he'd give me loads of feedback on it, and he helped me write some of the lyrics, to be fair. We knew we had a deadline, so we had to be productive, and I've never set myself a deadline before properly like that, so the fact that I had a deadline set for me made it way more urgent. So I released that.
Yeah, pull up to the strip, hit a liquor store, new tea, new fit,
It did really well. I got really good feedback from it. I felt really rewarded after it, maybe a bit too rewarded, because I kind of had a lazy period after that. I was like, oh, because I made this and everyone loves it, I can have a break.
Fish Tank got me reckless. I ain't ever been on guest list.
I wish I didn't. I wish I just kept on going. I should have stayed in that creative mindset that I was in. Most of the lyrics that I write are based on my social experience, like a night out or something.
Tell me what you drink, girl, let me get a bargain. Came to the the bar, £9 a pint, smashed up the barman.
Some time where I'm hanging out with my mates, just little things like that. And because of lockdown, because I was drained of my social experiences, I had less to write about. But I realised in the first lockdown, because of the situation that it put me in, I had to change lots of things about the way I make music. So in terms of like songwriting, I kind of had to change what my lyrical content was about. I ended up writing songs about just weird stuff that I would never write music about. But I think it was a really good thing because it kind of like opened me up creatively. I make music differently now than I did a year ago, and I think lockdown had a reason in that.
But I ain't chatting no Danny. Give a fuck about a Grammy. Just doing what I love the most.
Towards the end of the lockdown, I kind of got fed up. I think everyone was getting, like, over the summer, towards the end of the summer, because we were all expecting it to, like, COVID, like, to die down. But now, more recently, I've got productive again, and I think it's because I moved to university in London, because the music scene's massive here. So there's way more to take in here. There's way more influence, like, just the culture here for the music scene is massive. So, like, I definitely feel more inspired here. Also, because I'm living by myself and, like, not with my family, I definitely have a lot more freedom to just do what I want. Like, I just live in this room. I've got all my MIDI equipment in this room. I've got, like, my monitors. I've got my guitar. And I got my laptop. I've been working on more music. There's some songs that I'm working on now, and I'm just in the mixing process at the moment, just like touching them up and finishing them off, that I should be able to release soon. So I'm pretty gassed about that. Overall, I think the lockdown, the first lockdown, the second lockdown's kind of been a roller coaster. There's definitely been peaks creatively, but there's also been like just grey area where I haven't been making anything.
I'm not made for this, I'm not made for you. You're not made for me, that's why I'm texting you. And the same thing happens with the weather. I just say it's gonna get better, or it's gonna get worse. I can't even just care, I'll end up in a hearse. And these feelings are mine, so I ain't even work. Look, what I'm saying is, I can't even think of a verse. Two with my feels, too real, too full.
Have you tried taking out the pods?
Guy is an 18-year-old photography student at UAL. Having made the move from Bristol this autumn, he is now based in South London.
The first lockdown wasn't so hard for me. At the time I was still at college studying art and design, still had those figures and support network in place so that I could continue working and keep going. So at that period my creativity wasn't really damaged. However, late May, start of June, my college time ended. From that I started working full time, so I didn't really want or have the effort to keep on working, so my creativity was heavily damaged then. I just didn't create anything for a while. So I worked on my final major project, which was during college, which looked into Polaroids and how you can alter the chemical process with heat and cold to create patterns and interesting marks that you wouldn't usually see, especially from plain images and Polaroids. Not many people would think to look behind the original image. Other than that, I really didn't make anything. I had a couple of months where I didn't touch my camera. I was then rethinking about uni and wanted to be ready for it, so I just did little stuff like double exposure portraits at home, featuring wildlife, and experimented with film development and how I can use that to keep creating imagery. To university has been much better than I thought it would be. So at the start, I moved here a month before university started. The COVID lockdown was over, which meant I could meet a lot more people. I could go about and explore the city, made some creative work just out and about while I was exploring the city. And then a month later, I actually started to go into university. Even though I was only in 1 day a week, university has sort of boosted my creativity. I'm constantly thinking about new ideas. Well, everything in my life now, my friends, my area, my study, it's all concentrated on artwork and the industry. The second lockdown was much better than the first, in my opinion. I was still able to go into university and work on projects and keep being creative, which was quite nice. I could still use the library, take out kit to keep shooting. I was lucky also that I went to a lot of museums and explored the city beforehand, so I didn't feel the need to in the 4-week lockdown period. Nothing was damaged long term, my creativity was still at the point it was. I was just working away, working on projects. So I found it a lot better.
10 months in and in an entirely new year, we are facing a third lockdown. While the vaccine has started being distributed, the year ahead is still uncertain. When will we see the arts recover from this, and how long will it be before we can start experiencing spontaneous interactions again? Despite the chaos that has governed 2020, creativity has been found, be it from projects with friends or in the education system.